Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the second woman to be a justice on the Supreme Court, has died. She died of cancer. And before I say anything, I just want to say that, I admired Ruth. I admire her. I don't think that I would necessarily agree with her politics as an independent. I just don't agree with that type of far left politics, but I admire her. I mean, this is a woman who was denied jobs because she was a woman, and when she started to make progress, she was in college, and her husband had cancer, and she was a mother and caring for her husband. I mean, this is a very, very strong woman, and she's not nasty. I mean, she was friends with people like Scalia, who was a very right-wing judge on the Supreme Court. She was friends with Clarence Thomas, somebody who I admire like to the hills. But I mean, so she stood up for what she believed in. She fought to become somebody. She fought for it, and she didn't care what people thought. And I admire that. I really, really do. And she's dead. I say rest in peace. It's sad that she's dead. She's gone, and life must go on. And having said that, let me tell you something. There is about to be, hell is about to get hot. Oh, drama is about to hit the fan. I mean, America is about to see chaos and division worse than anything you could have seen in the Civil War. I mean, I'm about to declare Civil War 2. I mean, it is going to be bad, and it's going to be started by the left. They are seething, they are angry, they are getting, I can already hear the riots, I can already hear the protests, I can already hear the heckling. I think that whoever Trump decides to nominate to replace Ruth, and I think he should do it, 100% he should do it, and I'll tell you why too, but whoever he nominates, this person should arm themselves with a gun and stock up on bullets and be prepared to unload that gun on anybody who tries to do them harm. I said it. Yeah, 100% I believe it. Things are about to get bad. It's about to get bad. I think all you shopkeepers, all you banks, all you restaurants in D.C., you all better board up. You all better, the National Guard needs to be called out. They need to start hiring more D.C. police and Capitol Park police, and they need to send in the military. I think they need to suspend, what's that law, kamikaze or whatever it's called, that says that the military can't come on the street. I think that the District of Columbia needs to be swarming with National Guard and police. And I don't normally support that, but I'm telling you, there is about to be a bloodbath. Washington, D.C. is going to be a bloodbath in the coming days and the weeks. Trump is going to get somebody to replace Ruth, and I think he should. 100%. Joe Biden's people, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, all these people, all of these people on Joe's campaign have stated that they do not want to accept the results of the election if Donald Trump wins. They said they're just not going to do it. They're just not going to do it. I mean, can you imagine? They say they will make up something about Russia. But they say they're not going to accept the results of the election if Donald Trump wins. They're just not going to do it. So that means that the election will have to go to the courts. The courts will have to decide who the hell is the president. Who is this? And right now, I mean, when the Supreme Court of the United States is at its fullest, it's 9. It's supposed to have 9 people. Not an even number amount, because if it's even number and there's a tie, then there's a constitutional crisis. So in order to prevent a constitutional crisis, Donald Trump has a duty to get somebody immediately to replace Ruth. I don't care what Kamala has to say. I don't care what Corey has to say. I don't care what Patrick Leahy has to say. I don't care what Biden has to say. I don't care what any of them have to say. I don't care what any of them. If Trump doesn't find a replacement for Ruth, I don't think I could vote for him because, number one, it'll show that he's weak. And, I've had enough of so-called people who disguise themselves as patriots and then turn out to be weak. I'm tired of it. I've seen too much. We have been, from not just in the United States, but all over. In Canada, where I live, we've had politicians call themselves patriots and then they betray us. I'm tired of it. So I'm on guard right now. If Trump, you might say I'm being unreasonable. First of all, I'm an independent. I'm not loyal to the Republic. If Trump doesn't find a replacement for Ruth, I don't think I can vote for him. Not only because it'll show that he's weak and he's afraid of the media and he's afraid of these violent people on the streets, but it also means that he's prepared to have a constitutional crisis, and it'll mean he's stupid because Biden's people, not Biden. In all fairness, Biden didn't say. First of all, I think Biden makes my great-grandmother look like she's 13 years old, and she's been dead for years, okay? Biden doesn't know what's going on. His people who are in control of him, Hillary, Kamala, listen, if Joe wins, Kamala is president. Kamala is going to be ruling that White House. Kamala will, you think you can dominate? You think you can be Kamala's boss? You think Joe is going to be Kamala's boss? Kamala is going to be Joe's boss. Kamala will bust Joe Biden in the head with a glass or something. Please, Kamala will beat the living daylights out of Joe Biden in the Oval Office. I feel kind of sorry for Joe Biden, even though it's his fault. But his people have said they don't want to concede the election if Trump wins. They're just not going to do it. And so if they're not going to accept that Trump won, because they have to, if they don't accept it, because it's called concession, if they don't concede, and if the Senate, if they don't concede, well, then it goes to the courts. And let's say that, the race is close, like George Bush and Al Gore. Remember, in 2000, it was a Supreme Court that said that George Bush is the president because Al Gore said, no, we don't think that George Bush won the election. Al Gore didn't concede to Bush, so it had to go to the court, and the court said, no, George Bush won. And that was a big, horrible uproar. America tore itself apart during those days. It was bad. It was bad. It was bad. And can you imagine if that court is split down the middle and they can't decide? Then it's like America's just in limbo. It's like there's no president. Maybe that'll actually probably be a good thing, Less government is probably good. I don't know if we need president. But then again, it's probably good that we have that we at least pretend like we have elected officials rather than having businesses and corporations rule our lives. So maybe I should take that back. Maybe that won't be such a good thing, because if there's no government, which I'm not a fan of big government, but I'm also not a fan of the big corporations who aren't elected, and many of them are foreign, they will be ruling things. They will be ruling things, and the Zionists will be ruling things. So America will be America's already going to go into chaos. This is going to be bad. The Antifa, Black Lives Matter, and they're going to be hyped up by people like Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton and Cory Booker and the Senate Judiciary Committee. They're going to hype these people up. It's going to be bad. So they're going to come into Washington, D.C. They're going to start killing people. They're going to start burning down buildings. They're going to start, they will heckle the Senate. They will attack senators. It's going to be the Battle of Fort Sumter in Washington, D.C. Worse than the Battle of Forts, worse than the Battle of Gettysburg. And more people will just as many people, if not more, will die in Washington, D.C. than did in the fields of Gettysburg. I'm telling you, You seen these Antifa? You seen these Black Lives Matter people? The only way you can control them is to shoot them. Like the police, you see the unload your gun on these people. That's the only way you can control them. And I say that whoever the nominee is needs to stock up. Stock up. I'm telling you, it's going to be bad. There's going to be violence on the streets of Washington, D.C. Hey, if you're living in Washington, D.C. and you don't want to see violence, I suggest you move out of there right now. You move to Virginia, move to Maryland, move to Pennsylvania, move to West Virginia, hell, I'd go to Nebraska. I'd go to the moon. It's going to be violent. What? Antifa is getting ready. Black Lives Matter is getting ready. The feminists are getting ready. I'll say even Maxine Waters they're all getting ready to descend on Washington, and they're going to start killing people on the streets of Washington. It's going to be worse than the Rwandan genocide. It's going to be bad. Just like in Rwanda, when the Hutus killed the Tutsis, you're going to start seeing leftists kill people on the street. They're going to come after Trump. It's going to be violence on the streets of Washington, D.C. So there's already going to be chaos. But I'd rather the short-term chaos. First of all, I've already said Trump needs to get the National Guard ready. Get them ready. And these troublemakers, just shoot them. There's no other option. I mean, I know it sounds barbaric. I know you're thinking, how could I say? But if you don't shoot these people, they're going to go out of control. They'll take over Washington. And if you take over Washington, it's like you take over America. I mean, if you don't want to see Black Lives Matter, Antifa take over America and fly their flag above the White House, you better be prepared to get the National Guard out. And you gotta shoot them. You gotta shoot them. You just gotta shoot them. You gotta shoot you gotta shoot them. That's the only way they can stop. You can't tell them to stop. You can't tell them to sit down and stop it. Stop messing. You gotta just shoot them. It's come down to shooting. Have you seen these Black Lives Matter people, how they bust up windows? I mean, I've seen them tear up windows and banks, they have special glass. I don't know how these people break that. They bust that glass open, I see these people burn down police cars. These people need shooting. It's like an animal, a lion. If you open up the lion's cage and the lion is running around the zoo killing people, are you going to let the lion kill? You're going to shoot the lion. These people are animals. It's like the song, Who Let the Dogs Out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let these damn Antifa, Black Lives Matter dogs out? And they're coming out, and they're coming to Washington, right? I bet you half of them are already halfway there now. They heard that Ruth Bader Ginsburg is dead, and they're coming to Washington to kill people so that Trump can be scared into not putting somebody on the Supreme Court, because they want the Supreme Court to be run by them so that they can, shut down anything that is patriotic. They can take our guns away, take our freedoms away, make our schools into concentration camps, and teach us all kind of things about different sexes and all this. So that's what they want. The court they want infanticide. If a baby is born and the mother doesn't want it, throw it in the garbage. That is what they want. That is why they don't want Trump to fill Ruth Bader Ginsburg's seat, because they want someone like Biden to fill it with a judge who will agree with them that babies should be thrown in the garbage, and that guns should be taken away, and that we should all be forced to wear masks at gunpoint and take people to vaccination isolation camps, and that terrorists should be able to come to America, and anybody who is anybody should just walk into America illegally. That is the type of judge and the Supreme Court, when they decide something, it's over. The president can't do anything. No, God himself couldn't come down from the heavens and say, hey, I don't agree with this. The Supreme Court, these unelected people, they have almighty power, and I think it's wrong. And in hindsight, the left, I mean, if Trump fills that Supreme Court nomination, which he should, it's their own fault if that person is so powerful. You know, people like me, patriots, I have said that the Supreme Court should not have so much power. It should be just like in Canada. In Canada, don't give a damn what the Supreme Court justices in Canada say. We have something that's called the notwithstanding clause, which means elected members of parliament and the premiers and the prime minister can say, to hell with the court. To hell with the court. To hell with the court. To hell with you. To hell with you. Who's the Beverly McLaughlin? She's the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Canada. She has no power. Really, the justices in Canada are just, they're window dressing. It's the people's representatives who have the last word, which is how it should be. First of all, I think those judges and justices, they should be elected by the people. There should be term limits, and they shouldn't have a lot of power. They should only be there to just kind of be like, hey, this isn't really constitutional. But then at the end of the day, the people will decide what is constitutional, and that's how it should be. But the left, they love the fact that these unelected judges have so much power. And listen, most people on the right said, hey, it shouldn't be that way, but the left said it should be. So now if Trump decides, well, I got somebody here now, and I'm going to put him on it's y'all's fault, because y'all should have listened to people like me who said that these judges shouldn't be powerful in the first place. It's your own damn fault. And now you're going to have to live with it. You make your bed, you sleep in it. So Trump, you need to put a justice in there. Joe Biden, if he puts someone in there, you're going to see babies just come out of the womb, get thrown in the garbage, or have their heads chopped off. You're going to see guns taken away. Vaccine camps are going to be open. Forced masks. I mean, even in your house, you'll be forced to wear a mask. If you don't wear it, the police will shoot you. You'll see a police state. Wars. It'll be a disaster. So Trump needs to find somebody who's a patriot, who is for freedom. Not even necessarily who's a constitutional, whatever, but somebody who's for freedom. And I think he should find a woman. And it should be a black woman, too. A Hamite woman. Yeah, I think it should be. And I'll tell you why it should be. Not because I care about that black people should have power. No. I'm not that type of person. But because the left is going to destroy anybody who Trump puts in the Supreme Court to replace Ruth. It could be Jesus Christ. It could be God. It could be the angels from heaven. They will destroy. They are ready. They'll probably even try to kill that person. And I want these leftists to expose themselves for the hypocrites that they are and destroy an intelligent black woman. And then we can finally show the world that these leftists don't think that black lives and women lives matter. The only time they think that black lives matter and women lives matter is if those black women or those black people or those women are on a liberal plantation. If you don't live on the liberal plantation, your life don't matter. You could be as black as coal. You could look like Jonas Savimbi from Angola, where he's on television and you can only see his white eyes. Your life don't matter unless you are with us. That's what even Joe Biden, he said it himself. If you don't vote for me and you're black, you ain't really black. So Trump needs to find a smart, strong, freedom-loving, patriotic, populist black woman, and you watch Cory Booker, that pinch-nosed Negro, foo-foo jigaboo, Kamala Harris, and Elizabeth Warren, and Bernie Sanders, and Joe Biden, and Patrick Leahy, and Hillary Clinton, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and the one from Rhode Island, Sheldon Whitehouse, and Sidney Bloom, all those people, you see them tear up that Hamite woman, tear her up, rip her up, make up stories about her, and just destroy her. And then it'll show everybody that these people don't think that black lives matter and women lives matter. I'm Michael Arana, everybody. This is the